That's Deja's beat, huh?
Yeah, and we're live, by the way.
We are live. How come I can't hear the beat so well?
Here it goes.
Yeah, turn it up. Can you turn it up? Up. That's better. Deja, what's the name of this beat?
Great question. I actually don't remember. This is that random project that I dropped and never looked back at. I want to say psilocybin.
Nope. Ironically, it's called Thought Processes.
Yes, there we go. That's the guessing game.
All right.
Ready?
Yeah. So welcome back to Piper Carter Podcast. I don't know. Turn my headphones up, Brittany. I can't hear myself so good.
Is that better?
Check. I guess it's okay. Normally I'm a little warmer on the mic. I like to hear my voice kind of warm. But yeah, welcome back to Piper Carter Podcast. Once again, we are live in the studio and I'm with my co-hosts, Brittany and Deja, and joined by one of our new co-hosts, who is the NFT guru and Pilar Cote, artist extraordinaire. But yeah, let's go around the room. So how are you doing, Brittany?
Doing real good. Had a great week. Good weekend. Power outage had some fun, but it didn't stop mine. Yeah, it was a good weekend. What's up, Deja? How are you?
I'm pretty good. I had a good weekend too. Had a cool Sunday with you hanging out, so that was pretty good. What is it, Tuesday now, and the week's been pretty good.
That's good.
Work flew by, so no complaints.
Nice. Pipe?
Yeah, I don't know. I've still been doing all these business classes and doing all types of business trainings. I joined this Afrofuture Tech Summit incubator. So I've been training for like the last like 2.5 months with different people around the world. So this week we're gonna be in Nigeria. Last week we were in Haiti. I think the week
Nice.
before that we were in Dominican Republic, and then before that, where were we? Oh, we were in like 3 different countries in South America, and where were we before that? Oh my goodness, I'm trying to remember where we were before. Oh no, we were we it was an All Africa Summit before that. But every week we train on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then Fridays they do the like where they open it up and then they listen to speakers. But like Tuesdays and Thursdays are like a closed Zoom, and then that's where you do like really intensive training, and then we learn from the heads of like LinkedIn or Microsoft or Apple, or like different people will come in and do like different trainings, and then professional development trainings like in their software or in like some new technology. And then on Fridays it's opened up and then people can attend on YouTube.
Nice.
So it's a really wonderful human. Her name is Christine Intem, and she is in Haiti. Well, no, she's in New York City, but she's from Haiti, and she created something called Global Tech Summit, and she does these tech summits like around the world, like Dubai, and she just figured out a way to do these tech summits for people of color. And she's been doing it for like 5 years, and she just goes around to different countries. But obviously during COVID or the pandemic, she has been doing them online. So she's looking to do them in person again, but until then she's offering them online. So yeah, it's really helping me to like, step my old ass into the future so I can try to understand what's going on.
Love it, Piper. A
Yeah.
lot of studying, studious. Nice.
Man, and like I'm gonna be honest with you, like it's a lot.
No, I was just telling, and we're gonna ask Pilar how her weekend was, because she had a pretty insightful weekend at Art Basel the weekend before, right?
Yeah.
So what'd you do to settle in this weekend?
So I launched a virtual gallery on spatial.io that on Thursday that was highlighting, and it was aligned with the United Nations 16 days to end gender-based violence. So it's that campaign, Orange the World, and so it was going on for 16 days until the 10th, and then we're keeping this one up until January 28th. So
Nice.
there, 9 artists on there, and the link is in my link tree in my bio, in my bios on
I was
all my
just gonna
things.
ask,
Yeah,
All my
yeah.
things. The link is in there.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, it's cool. It's on spatial.io. And then on Friday, I graduated from
Congratulations.
I graduated from a racial equity fellowship, the
Okay.
Detroit Equity Action Lab, which is a part of the what do you call it? The Civil Rights Center at the Wayne State School of Law. So that finally, it's like a year-long thing. So that was really, really good. Yeah.
Yeah. Go
Nice.
Pilar.
That's
Congratulations.
Go Pilar.
I mean, because
Piper's also one of the fellows too. She
Mhm.
was
Oh, for
with
real?
she was with part of an earlier cohort, right?
oh,
Yeah, that's why I put your name on the thing so you can get in.
Nice. we
Yeah.
were just talking about before on air that like this new age is like kind of like taking that 1990 computer class all over again, where you're like having to learn about like
Coding,
yes.
HTML.
We said last
Computer
week
language.
vocab, yeah, like so you guys are doing some pretty cool stuff. So
I mean, it's necessary.
I like that.
You
though.
know, I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, like it's necessary for you to be able to make a living.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to make a living unless you. Let me not say that. It'll be difficult in the
Yeah.
future
Yeah.
if you don't have a place in it somewhere.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Or at least an understanding,
An
of the tech
understanding.
space, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, I want to add that Bill Gates, I don't know, a number of years ago had mentioned that by the year 2030, there would be 230,000 new jobs in tech, right? Like brand
Mhm.
new jobs, right? Like, because this space is always evolving, innovating, blah, blah, blah. But with the pandemic now, the pandemic just like brought that up into like
Mhm.
our current, like everything went virtual. People had to understand how to hybrid their lives, how to like get online to be able to like work. People are, really comfortable in, working from home at this point and just
Mhm.
doing virtual, and then understanding, the metaverse and like, what is augmented reality? Do I get an Oculus? Do I just, use whatever, just all the things. And all of also AI.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
all of that, artificial intelligence, coming really into the forefront, robotics, right? All the things that robotics and automated systems are sort of taking over. And it's in our best interest to get an understanding of the space, to get a handle of the space so that we can partake in
Yeah.
it. But more so than that, help build the future.
Yeah, help build what it
right?
should be
100%.
out.
We're building the future.
Having some type of decision making.
Yeah, without bias, without
Mhm.
prejudice, with all the right frameworks, the right narratives, built into the systems that are being
Understood.
written, right? So
Yeah,
it's
because
really important.
otherwise, the AI, and if people want to look this up, there's different articles that have been done from the different studies, but it's basically made up of the different algorithms, right? And technology. So technology is only as quote unquote intelligent as what is put into it. And so if all of the information that's put into it is like
And the
racist
programming.
or the programming,
Yeah, yeah.
sexist and like all the things, then that is how it's going to build itself. And so like if you get, your number or however, things are done when it comes up, they're starting to do like predictive programming. And so it's like, oh, this person is like likely to commit a crime, or this person is likely to do blah blah blah, so they're a danger to society, so we need to have some sort of preemptive. So that's the way that I mean, that's on the dangerous side of life, right? But it also reads like if you should, be in a, be in a certain place, or if you belong, or so we have to be the ones who are also putting our, say as to like what the way that this thing should be shaped, right? So that we're not victims of it, or so that we're not always the consumer, like, oh, I want to get the new PlayStation. It's like, oh, well, what could you create that
Right.
could benefit other people, not just like, oh, I want to upgrade and get whatever game card.
Got you.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Well, I'm just really excited about the direction of the show because these are topics, Pilar, that we've discussed. We've discussed Afrofuturism, we've discussed cybersecurity, even in the physical form, we've discussed environmental justice, we've discussed all sorts of things, right? So we're like, how
Wait,
do
Brittany,
we?
I don't really hear you in the mic.
I'm sorry.
Mhm.
I'm just to reiterate, I'm excited about the direction of the show with Pilar because of all the themes that we've discussed over the last few years on the show, Pilar. And you being able to come in and be able to speak to this new age that we're moving into and give us a breath of fresh air as we move into it ourselves, like you said, so we're not behind the eight ball, still do the social justice, still be into hip hop, right? Still do all these things, but also help it transcend, right? So thank you. I'm excited. We have so much to talk about, right? There's so many different angles from a week to week basis that we can discuss this new age, right? So
Wait, before we go there, let's
I was
let's go to the news real quick.
for sure. That's where
Yeah,
I was
let's do
getting at.
that.
There's
Yeah.
so much to discuss, but
Mhm.
today we're gonna get into some things. But before, to Piper's point, before we get too into depth, I'm gonna play a tiny clip from what we're about to get into a little bit right now.
Of people remain unaccounted for tonight, with dwindling hope of finding them alive after tornadoes cut a swath of destruction across at least 6 states. The vicious centerpiece was a monster supercell that carved an hours-long 250-mile path from eastern Arkansas to western Kentucky. Over 100 people are feared dead, at least 80 of them from Kentucky. CBS's David Begnaud is in the devastated town of Mayfield. I know that a lot of times the pictures and the video just don't do these stories any justice. David.
I love what she says there. Like
Which part?
that the videos and the photos, it's like it doesn't do it justice when things like this happen, right? You kind of have to like experience yourself or really kind of relate to things that are happening. So in Kentucky, right? Again, one of the themes of our show is environmental justice, and thus far through Mayfield, Kentucky, all the way through like 7 other states that include like Arkansas, Illinois, Indiana, Mississippi, Missouri, Ohio, Tennessee. They're experiencing tornadoes. And so right now they fear that like over 100 people have passed away. So this story is continually like developing, right? Like they haven't found everyone. You're seeing all different types of footage, people saying it's kind of reminiscent of Katrina. I just want to bring healing into the room, first of all, and then secondly, talk about it from, like I said, you don't know until you're kind of there. And so there's a specific story about a candle factory that is in Kentucky, and people were trying to leave work and they were being threatened to be fired if they left. People were trying to call off work, and again, they were being threatened that if they didn't come in, that they were going to be fired. Some people just went ahead, they left, right? These are sources on all the websites across the board, the New York Times, CNN, that this candle shop is completely destroyed at this point. 8 people have been found dead in this candle shop, right? This candle factory. So we talk about capitalism, right? We talk about greed. We talk about not understanding the importance of people, right? As we move into this new age, right? We still have a point where we're still dealing with factory workers, right? People who are going in, who are doing still, pressing a time clock, right? Working 12-hour shifts, right? Still in the physical working, right?
Yeah.
And they lost their lives because someone felt that they weren't important enough to evacuate, right? So this to me is really real, right? Do you guys have anything you want to add to this?
Yeah. I'll let Pilar go first.
I think it's so important for us to really really accept and really push for people over corporations. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And it's something that we as a society, our society, it's not sustainable. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? It's not sustainable to put a corporation and profits over people. It just isn't. You know what I mean? Like nowhere in human history has that been, you know what I mean? Like the longevity of like humans. Do you know what I mean? Like so
Mhm.
and just in just environmental justice in general, just like the environment, the fact that like the environment is just havoc wrecking right now, that is because corporations have pushed profits over, humans, over life, over nature. You know what I mean? And to see something like that where obviously poor people, you know what I mean, are threatened. Do you know what I mean? Their livelihood is threatened
Mhm.
to, for a bottom line, it's crazy over candles. I mean, it's crazy, like
Candles.
crazy, like that is insanity. Like, how is that not something where, somebody steps in and says, this is so egregious, right? It's so egregious. It's so deplorable that, you're getting charged. You're
Mhm.
you're getting some kind of like, I don't know, is it manslaughter? Is it like, what are all the things that you can be charged with? Like, let's be, you know what I mean? Like,
Well,
Yeah.
they're denying the allegations. I just tried to look it up as soon as she said it. I'm like, what company is this? And yeah, they're denying that they ever told their employees
Of
that
course
got
they are,
fired. Yeah.
right? They should have been evacuated. It. There shouldn't. No one should have been made to come to work.
There should have been safety measures and plan, and the fact that they told them ahead of time means that they knew that it could be really bad. But
yeah, that's what's
still gotta
crazy to
come.
me. It's like,
Yeah.
no, you should be shutting down.
Yeah.
No, you should be like,
Yeah, this is the AP News. So, Mayfield, Kentucky, an employee of the Kentucky candle factory where 8 workers were killed by a tornado said Tuesday that a supervisor threatened her with written disciplinary action if she went home early because storms were approaching. Haley Condor, who worked for the Mayfield Consumer Products Factory on and off for 10 years, also questioned why the company did not encourage workers to go home or at least give them a better understanding of the danger between a first tornado siren around 6 p.m. Friday and another around 9 p.m. shortly after the tornado hit. They were still
Say
in there
that.
after the tornado hit.
Yeah, say that a little slower because you said it
Wow.
like real fast.
I'm sorry. Haley Condor, who worked
Mhm.
at the Mayfield Consumer Products Factory on and off for 10 years, also questioned why the company did not encourage workers to go home or at least
Mhm.
give them a better understanding of the danger between a tornado siren around 6 p.m. Friday and another around 9 p.m. shortly before the tornado hit. So before the tornado hit, shortly before.
Mhm. So
What?
It's crazy that the policy isn't automatically, I mean, you are in tornado land. You know what I mean? You're in tornado land. So you get a warning. Do you know what I mean? Like a
Mhm.
very serious warning. How is there not a policy in this workplace to be like, clear out, everybody clears out? Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Like, so what? So you lose like a few hours. You know what I mean? Like,
That's what overtime was for.
right.
Right.
And if it's gone, what's crazy to me is that somebody doesn't have the critical thinking to think, if the factory is gone tomorrow, we can't make our profits anyways. You see
Yeah,
what I'm
but
saying?
that's not the way they think, right?
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like there's no critical thinking there, like aside from like any kind of compassion
Mhm.
and prioritizing human life.
Yeah.
That should be the priority.
Well, that is a what would we call that? That is the problem, isn't it?
Yeah.
That we don't, just across the board, uh I think it's called is it called a corporatocracy that we're moving into, where the corporations pretty much run everything. And so, you know, it's fun. I don't want to say funny, but we started to see this in the 70s, right? So it's so normalized that um people are desensitized to it. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like people be like I mean, even if we look at, what we talk about, who makes your clothes, right?
Right.
Or who grows your food, or who, so we're talking about like a candle factory, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you've got the different levels of the business, right?
Mm-hmm.
So where does that decision get made, right? Like, where do the critical decisions get made?
Corporate levels.
Yeah.
Right. So it's at the corporate level. So here we've just come through a pandemic. People are feeling that they need their job.
And it's
So they
Christmas
feel
time.
like I've got to go to work,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
right? Like I can't like not go to work. Like I've been off work or possibly, right?
Right.
Like for almost 2 years. So I have a job. So I have to go to work. And there's such a level of desperation that a person doesn't have the choice, or they feel as though they don't have the choice to be like, yeah, like I'm not going to do this.
Right.
Like I'm not going, and I'm not going to do this. Like, so
Especially when they're saying you'll get fired. It's different if
Yeah,
they
but
say
that's-
you'll get a point. You'd be like, man,
but
F
that's
this.
right.
Either
no,
way,
that's what
it's
I mean. Like
wrong.
a person doesn't have it. Like a
Either
person
way.
feels I don't have a
Yeah.
choice.
Yeah,
Like
it becomes
I'm not going to be
coercion.
like, like
Right.
I have kids, I have a home, I have,
Yeah.
mortgages, I have debt, I have, a person I'm caregiving for, like,
Mhm.
I
Can't
have
afford to
medical
lose the
bills, like
job, yeah.
there's all the things.
But then
And so, how does a person make a decision that's, I mean, I guess it talks about privilege, because it's like, how does a person make a decision that's quote unquote better, right? Like for their self, if they're in a position to where they need whatever this job
Where
is
it's
for
not
their
about them.
survival.
Mhm.
That's
Mhm, mhm.
crazy.
But that's where the corporation is using that as leverage, right? That's
Yeah.
it. Now you're moving into like the territory of blackmail and coercion,
Yeah.
because you're coercing people, with the threat of losing their livelihood. You're coercing people with the threat of losing, a way to eat. You're
Yeah.
coercing people. Do you know what I'm saying? Like you're
Yeah.
using this as leverage against them to force them to, do your bidding, to, to go against what is, just your own
Right.
self-care.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like that's coercion, and there should be something that is punishable. Like that should be punishable.
Yeah.
That level of coercion, like to where there's manslaughter. Like, do you know what I mean? Like people died. Do you know what I mean? Like if you lock the doors, the exits to a building,
Mm-hmm.
right? And there's
Yeah.
a fire inside, somebody's got to be held accountable. Like,
Yeah.
why are they locked?
Yeah.
Why can't people leave the building?
But
Right?
a lot of these a lot of
right.
these, what do you call them? They're like sweatshops, or
Yeah.
a lot of
lock
these type
people
of
in.
buildings are like that,
Yeah.
where the people can't get out, can't
Right.
go to the
Unreal.
bathroom.
Right.
But let's keep it a buck. That's Amazon.
Ironically,
The Amazon warehouses are like that. People were
Oh shit.
people were complaining that
They get locked in?
yeah, they can't go to the bathroom, like all these inhumane
my
conditions
God.
and stuff at Amazon.
Yeah, my nephew said that once you clock in at Amazon, you are theirs. They ensure that every minute to the second is accounted for when you're at work.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Wow.
if they see you slowing down, like on a like your pace is slowing down, they'll send somebody over and say, hey, you're moving a little too slow, you need to pick up your pace.
Yeah.
You're behind how many things you should have been doing, whatever the task is,
Mhm,
But
mhm.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But the folks in Kentucky, just want to send them a lot of love, because
For sure.
people died. And I mean, the factory is one place, but it's the entire region,
Correct.
because there's places in the South, that were hit hard as well.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Illinois got hit too, and
Mm.
actually, an Amazon factory got hit.
Yeah, they did. I
Mm.
saw that. A
Mhm,
nice wing
mhm.
of it. Yeah. So yeah,
So
that does.
sad.
It is very sad. So I think we should give them a moment of silence, and I think that that should be our news. I don't think we should follow up with anything else. Give them a moment of silence starting now. Okay, Pilar. I'm gonna let you lead us into our main conversation today. Yeah, it's on you.
So we are discussing a little bit of the blockchain, what that is, and what is a digital wallet. We hear digital wallets being brought up. We hear things like MetaMask and, also cold wallets and hard wallets and crypto, NFTs. What is all this stuff? So it can get really confusing for people that aren't, sort of from that space, but you don't have to be from that space to understand it and to sort of get your head around it. This is sort of demystifying it is what we're going to do a little bit of today, so that it's a little bit more accessible to people, so that they kind of get their head around it, because it is evolving as part of the future right now. And what that means is that it is it's providing a new kind of access to being able to, sell things, buy things, put information and data, in a place where it is pretty protected, in the sense of that it's immutable, like it can't be hacked, it can't be changed, which is really useful for different types of information that we want it held somewhere, and we want it to be transparent. We want anybody to be able to see it, and see it like right now.
Wait, let's start with
Yeah.
what is blockchain? Because like when people say, crypto or NFT or Bitcoin or any of the Coinbase or any of the companies or phrases that are really popular right now, everything is based on the blockchain. So could you like just start us from like 101, like beyond kindergarten, like take us to preschool?
Okay, so a blockchain, think of it as a digital ledger. For anyone who doesn't know what a ledger is, think of it old school ways as, like a notebook that you would write down all the things that, you used money, like, you know what I mean? You bought this much, you sold that much, someone gave you this much money, money came in, money went out, and you wrote it down to keep track of things, right? A ledger, right? So now we're talking about a digital ledger, where all the transactions that are made, right, in cryptocurrencies, which is a form of money, a form of currency, right, are recorded on this blockchain chronologically, like in order as they come, right? And they're publicly accessible. Like you can look at the blockchain anytime you want. It's transparent. It's there for anyone to see. And it's really difficult to change the information that gets put on this blockchain. Think of it as like data and information that gets put in blocks. And that information is there. It's hard to change it because it's decentralized. So the information, the data, is placed on systems of computers all over the place, as opposed to on one computer, which would be a central system. And you can change information that's in one place anytime you want, because it's there, it's in one place. But if it's in a whole bunch of places, you can't really change the information, because it's really hard. You've got to go look for it. It's just really, really difficult.
Okay, question. So is there just one blockchain? Like, so the blockchain was started with one block and then it grew, or are there like several different blockchains, or 2 or 3 blockchains that you can add yourself onto?
Yeah, there are different blockchains that different, I guess, projects have created, right? So you've got an Ethereum blockchain, you've got the Bitcoin, like you've got all kinds of different blockchains, Cardano, they're different blockchains.
So does the cryptocurrency brand determine the blockchain, or it can be beyond cryptocurrency on how a blockchain is created, or it has to include cryptocurrency in order for it to be considered a blockchain?
So think of it as it's like together, but it's not because of.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So they work together, but it's not because of. If you look at the blockchain as literally somewhere where information is stored, as opposed to like the blockchain makes coins or anything like that. It's not. Do you see what I'm saying? It's not that. It's something where information is held, and we use cryptocurrencies to give value to certain things that we want to, like assets that we want to put on the blockchain,
Okay.
right?
Do you get that?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right. So
Wait,
yeah.
explain it.
Who, me?
Yeah.
So, I mean, so ultimately, like, okay, so I buy a piece of cryptocurrency, and that piece of cryptocurrency is defined by a group of numbers, and that group of numbers is like kind of held on this blockchain. So similar to like an iCloud, like there's a space, I'm assuming, but this space has more value than an iCloud because it's tied together through, like you said, chronological numbers. And it's called a chain because the chronological numbers, as they go along, they create this chain, I'm assuming.
Yeah, so like the chain is formed, right, at like one block at a time kind of
Correct.
thing, right?
Yes.
And there's I want to mention gas, because that comes up a lot with blockchains, especially say we'll talk about the biggest one, or a main use one, the Ethereum blockchain. So when you hear people talk about gas, it's the computational energy that needs to be used in order to create a transaction on that blockchain, right? So computers need to solve mathematical questions, or mathematical equations rather, that kind of thing, and that energy that it uses to do that, to be able to like mint it, to be able, I don't want to say mint, but to be able to put information into those blocks,
the
into that data,
actual-
the actual,
got it.
right, to get it in there,
Create it.
right? That will cost a little bit, right? There's and that's what gas is. So your Ethereum, like the value, there'll be a piece of Ethereum that you'll use to make that happen. So depending on, say there are a whole bunch of people doing a whole bunch of things on it at 2:00 in the afternoon Eastern Standard Time, they're like, I don't know, maybe like 25 people did these major drops, and all kinds of people are on there minting and all kinds of things. The gas is going to be high, right? It might be like $190 to put something on there, that kind of thing. Or for you to mint something, for you to like buy something and like have it mint or whatever, or
So-
move something from one wallet to another.
Mint is such a key word in this discussion. Can you break that word down?
So minting is just a word that we use to make it really simple, in terms of like creating something. So if
Got
you
it.
want to create something, you want to put it on the blockchain, specific to like say like NFTs, non-fungible tokens, that people will say I'm minting it, or I minted it, or
Got
like
it.
like in a like in
Mhm.
when you mint a coin.
Got it.
yeah, right. So and that'll take computational power. And then there's lazy minting. You'll hear lazy minting or gasless minting, where certain marketplaces will allow you to do that, create something, and you won't be charged a gas fee. The gas fee, or the minting fee, ends up like being sat on to a buyer. If there's a buyer that ever comes along and buys that, say NFT, like your piece or whatever it is that you're selling as an NFT, or whatever that NFT is, because an NFT,
A basketball card, digital basketball card.
right, it could be tied to real estate, it can be tied to a car. Most people right now use NFTs as art, so they'll create crypto art, digital art, and they'll mint that as an NFT, right? It's a non-fungible token.
Mhm.
It has like specific properties. It's immutable. It's not you can't just exchange it for something of the same value kind of thing. It has its own properties. So,
Okay.
and there's a smart contract attached to it.
So for easiness sakes for me, so I buy a piece of a Bitcoin and I am added to the Bitcoin blockchain.
Okay, so yeah, people aren't really okay. Bitcoin is a specific thing. It's a little bit different because, how do I put it?
Bitcoin is a company.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's
The like how you have a computer but then like HP is a company, Apple's a company, Acer's a company. So Bitcoin is a company,
Mhm.
and they are actually on the centralized network. They're
Okay.
not on the
Decentralized.
decentralized network.
Okay, got you.
And
Okay.
it's an early cryptocurrency. Think of it as like an early cryptocurrency that now has grown in value. So it's the highest valued cryptocurrency that there is, right? And I don't know of anybody minting anything on Bitcoin at the moment. Like I don't think
Okay.
you can, you know what I mean? It's not that, mainly it's Ethereum where people are minting things.
Understood.
And
So
creating
Ethereum is
protocols and
not
that
a
sort of thing.
company like Bitcoin.
Ethereum is a company,
Okay, it's
Mhm.
a company, but
And-
it's decentralized.
but also it's a technology.
okay, I got you.
You know,
Yeah.
So it's just like how like you have with Apple, right? So you have certain technology that is proprietary, right? Or is that the right proprietary, right? To Apple. So Ethereum is its own proprietary like currency, right? On the blockchain. But it is also a company, if that makes sense.
hmm
Okay.
And think of Ethereum too as something where all kinds of other companies are building things on that blockchain, right? So they're building platforms, they're building metaverses, they're building, virtual worlds or marketplaces, or
It's just like
they're creating different things.
Dr. Dre made or whoever the company is that made the Beats by Dre headphones,
hmm
right? And you think of the Apple, those Apple
AirPods.
earpods. Like that's a company that made those earpods that are specifically for Apple, right? So and then there's like you can get the little DJ hookup to put like controller to put into your to connect to your computer so you can DJ, and
That's
it's
a good analogy.
so it's proprietary to Apple, right?
It's like the Apple system.
It's the Apple
but
system.
It's a different business
Yeah,
on the Apple system that's
exactly.
compatible with the Apple system.
Got it.
Exactly.
So right. So there are a lot of different protocols, platforms, things like different things being created and imagined as part of like the Ethereum blockchain, right? So that you use Ethereum coin, Ethereum cryptocurrency as the value system, right? So when you want to buy things on it, you would use Ethereum. When you want to move anything, it's Ethereum that's used for transactions, for gas, for all of that. It's all a part of that. So you would need a wallet that is compatible with Ethereum, if that makes any sense.
Yes.
Right. So if you want to buy some Ethereum to be able to get into, let's say, Decentraland, right? You want to go into this place called Decentraland where you can wander around and look at all kinds of like cool things that people have built. They buy land, like lots in there, and
like
then
digital land.
Yeah, digital land, and then they create things in there, right? So you might want to go and visit, and it's free to go in. You go in and you visit a gallery. You go in and you see a concert. Somebody's performing in there or DJing virtually. They sync everything in. There's all like they stream things in. All kinds of different things going on in there. People are creating fashion in Decentraland, right? And they're buying clothes for their little avatar, their little person in there, right? And so like they're running around with like cool shoes or headgear, whatever.
And fashion's like really picking up. I mean, there's a whole like crypto like fashion industry now.
Right. And they've got what is it? Mana is their
Oh
coin.
yeah, the Mana coin.
The Mana coin. So you
Yeah.
can use Mana in there.
So
to
is
buy
Mana?
stuff.
Does Mana have its own blockchain?
I'm not
Oh,
sure, but I think Mana is it called the protocol for the site
yes.
that's inside of
So-
Decentraland.
It's
Like
so
Decentraland.
wild. This is like
So think of it this way. You've got like the
I feel like we're confusing people.
you got
no,
like
this
a
is good. This is good because like
we're going all over the place.
no, it's good because this is the reality. This is like the reality of it. It's trying to understand where everything fits. Like it seems as if like a lot of these corporations, like okay, Bitcoin, Ethereum, they like serve many purposes. Like Westinghouse back in the day, they made TVs. They made elevators, they made all different sorts of things. They were one thing, but then they were like all different sorts of things in their own little ecosystem.
So let's say like when you're talking about like so like we're talking about like the web 3.0, right?
Okay.
So if you Decentraland is only like a company or a site, if you will.
So it's a website.
Pretty much.
So I could go to www.decentraland.com.
No, you have to use a browser. You have to use a web 3.0 browser. So you could download like the Brave browser.
So let me back up. So what is it called? Web 3.0.
That's what the metaverse is right now.
So boom. So you go on there, then you
need a browser.
Okay.
That can
think of like Chrome browser.
Right.
Okay, gotcha.
So a lot of people will go on their Chrome browser. They get something called an extension, a Chrome extension.
Perfect.
Right.
Okay.
And that sort of helps you link. I believe you have to link that, and then you can launch Decentraland. And Decentraland, you can't just so that you understand, you can't launch it on, say, your phone. Right? It can only be launched on, say, a desktop, because that's where they're at right now. Right now, the platform is just available through desktop, through a browser like Chrome. Or do you know what I mean? Like Chrome browser. And people use a couple of other ones because they don't like Chrome, but whatever. And then you get in there and you can go in and maneuver around.
Perfect. Yeah. And so let's say like you get Brave browser, right? I mean, Brave is, let me just put it this way, a browser.
Got it.
It's a popular one, but it's a browser. There's other browsers.
Right.
So you go in Brave browser, and Brave can read the subdomains. So like, okay.
Explain what that is.
So right now, if you go into Web 2.0, right, you go into Chrome or Opera or Safari.
Got it.
You're going to go to a website, right? If you are going to do your, see what you owe in your taxes, it's going to be like .gov, right? At the end of that, if you're going to see anything for the government, right?
Yeah.
And .com is the most, like, most of our businesses are .coms, but universities are .edu, .net, okay. So with the Web 3.0, you've got .nft, .bitcoin,
okay,
crypto.io.
There we go.
You have, and those subdomains are the addresses where you're going to go.
Got it.
So when you're traveling, if you will, or I don't know the proper term, navigating, thank you. You put those into, right? Like, I want to go here. I want to go there.
Like the browser window.
Yeah, the browser window. And you want to go to Decentraland. So Decentraland is literally just one of the companies that has land. But there are many.
So when people talk about buying digital real estate, that's a place where you can buy
a place. It's like
lots, right?
There's like so many.
Crypto voxels.
Snoop Dogg is promoting Sandbox. There's like so many of them.
There's a lot. Yeah. And they're going.
These places will accept any type of cryptocurrency or specific cryptocurrency.
Specific.
So does
and sometimes they use their own tokens. So you can create your own token if you want. I can create my own. No, just in the world. Like that you can, there's is it rally.io or something like that, where a lot of people are just, they're being goofy or serious or whatever. Like they're really goofy ones in there. And then there are people that are like a little bit more serious. They're trying to have their own token and get a whole lot of people to buy in.
There you go.
And increase the value of it. But it's creating tokens, like coins of your own thing.
And are they using that gas stuff you were talking about?
So explain gas one more time, what gas is.
So gas is computational energy, what it takes to make a transaction happen.
Transaction.
Right.
Or crypto. So are you using gas to create that coin?
Say that one more time.
Are you using that energy, that gas energy, to create a coin, like to create the crypto coin?
It's
so the coin is, what's the best way to explain what a coin is? So a coin is literally like
a token.
It's like a piece of currency.
Yeah.
But what currency? When you like, so can I create my own Bitcoin and it becomes valuable because
not
everyone buys
Bitcoin,
into
not
it?
Bitcoin.
Not
You
a-
could create a Britney coin.
That's what I mean. Like I can
Right.
create my own version of it, and then
But
what
it's not
makes
Bitcoin.
it?
Remember, Bitcoin
I
is a
got it.
company.
I'm clear.
I just want to be clear.
I
Like,
get you.
yeah, okay.
So then, okay, I got the Britney coin. I say, Deja, Pipe, Pilar, please buy this Britney coin so we can make this popular. And it only becomes valuable because other people say go to one of those websites where they can trade in their dollar for a Britney coin or something like that.
You don't really want to. So that is a I don't want to say it's a capitalist way. That is a that's a way of thinking of, I'm gonna use the word fiat, whereas a lot of the concepts about that we have around money or currency, they're very transactional, right?
Okay.
So the ways in which we think about money right now is very like, okay, you do, I give you this and you give me this. Whereas,
Well, how does the transaction happen? So I walk up and I say I got $100 to go into buy cryptocurrency.
Sure. But you got to look at it, think of it also in ways of like, what value does that cryptocurrency have? Like, right? Like, let's talk money, for example, right? Money only works because you and I believe that dollar bill has value.
Understood.
Right? It's just a piece of paper. It really has no value. Like it's a piece of paper, like 0.0001 cent on that piece of paper with like the printing ink and whatever. It's like, I mean, it doesn't have a lot of value. But because you believe and I believe that if it says the number 50 on it, that it has a certain amount of value and I can trade that for something, right? It has value. But if you don't believe that 50 on that piece of paper means anything, I can't trade you. Like, do you know what I mean? I can't trade it for something that you have, right? So that's part of like cryptocurrency, and think of it as a new way of creating value for things, right? You can create a coin, right? Like a token, like some people are doing it. Like I was saying, like they're being very fun about it and whatever. Yeah. But at the end of the day, there has to be value for it. Like what can you get with that cryptocurrency, right?
mm-hmm.
And so this is why something like, say, Bitcoin has a lot of value right now, because you can use it. They've figured out a way to use it to exchange, purchase things in a certain store. They've convinced people, brought people in to say, like, we can use that to pay people, like, instead of a paycheck. They want to be paid in Bitcoin. And there are, all kinds of platforms and things where it's accepted, right? It's accepted as currency, right? That has like similar value to fiat, like USD dollars or whatever, right? And so that has value. And so once something starts having value and starts having use, do you know what I mean? Like you can use it for something, right? Now, people can invest in it. To make it really simple, I'm being really general and really simple, but and it increases in value because now Janie and Mark and Farah, like they've all decided, well, we want to buy some Bitcoin too because we might be able to use it for something later on, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as that grows, as people invest, the value of it also increases.
Yeah.
So if that makes any sense, but really, like, you hear something like a word, utility, brought up a lot, and what that'll usually refer to is, well, what can I do with that? What can I do with something? What does this NFT have any utility? Does this NFT collection or project have any utility? Is there something else that I'm going to be able to do with it, or is it just going to sit in my wallet and look pretty? Do you know what I mean? Does this cryptocurrency have any like utility for any
longevity?
Use? Yeah. And you look at something like Amazon has already stated publicly that I guess this coming year they're going to be accepting Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Cardano. Right. So now if you hold any of those coins, if you bought any of that cryptocurrency, you're going to be able to shop on Amazon using not USD dollars, but using some of your cryptocurrency. Right. And so that's really great for, say, somebody in Bitcoin, for example, that maybe they thought it was a really cool idea, 5 years ago, let's just say. And maybe back then Bitcoin was the value of it. You could buy a whole Bitcoin, like a whole token, a whole coin for like 0.005 cents, let's just say, or 7 years ago or whatever, right? And they were like, I'm going to throw, $500 into that. Today, each one of those Bitcoins, right, is worth what? I don't know what it is today, but it got as high as 60,000 this year, right? So like, let's just say right now it was worth $60,000. Each one of those coins that you got is worth 60,000. Now you are a billionaire. You have billions of dollar valuations, if you know what I mean, like in Bitcoin. And you might be like, yay, I can buy whatever Amazon's selling, and like I'll be able to go in there and use all this value that has been created over this time, because I just sat around and didn't do anything with it, and I just let it increase in value over time. And it dips and it goes up, and cryptocurrencies move up and down all the time. Like sometimes people get anxiety, they're like, it's dropped like 20%, and it's just like, don't worry about it. Look at it like, I mean, this is not financial advice, but if you want to get into cryptocurrencies, try not, like most people suggest, well, don't use money you really, really need.
Yeah.
Right? If you have like $5 that you're not going to miss, then throw that into something and see what happens. And maybe like think of it like, I'm not going to do anything with it for a year, and it's going to move up and down. And maybe like after a year, that $5 will become like $50 of valuation, or even $20. Like, you know what I mean? You'll increase in little increments. Some people have $1 million kicking around, so they'll throw $1 million into something, and when $1 million, moves from being like, say, $100 to being 60,000 each, that $1 million, like, jumped like, whatever, 60,000 times, you know what I mean? So that kind of thing is what has happened in that particular space. And there are like maxis. There are people who are all about Bitcoin. They don't even recognize any other cryptocurrency as being valid or valuable.
Okay, there is a person that I pay attention to online, and they said that is not a good idea. They said that it's a good idea to get as many of the crypto as different ones as you can. So, I mean, without it being financial advice, like, what are your thoughts on that?
I think it's really smart, in my opinion. That's just for me, like to what's called diversify, right? To like get a little bit of this and a little bit of that kind of thing, so that everything is moving in its own space, and everything has its own user case, you know what I mean? Like different platforms that you can use it with, different things you can use it with, and it's moving in different paces. So yeah, I mean, if you were early in Bitcoin, you're probably like quite happy right now. You're like thrilled with what's happened with it. And there are stories of people who got into Bitcoin early, and then they were like, I don't know what this is, and they got rid of it, and now they're crying. Do you know what I mean? But there's also, Cardano, there's also Ethereum. There are all kinds of different, a lot of people like Solano, which is different. But there are, do your homework, look at what the projects are about, look at any white papers, which is like the research and this, like their layout of the land for each project, for any project that you want to like invest in or put money into. Definitely like do some homework, look at it, and think about, well, what do they want to do here? What are they doing with it? Like, what's, you know what I mean? What are their what's their purpose? Is there a purpose? What are they doing with it? With any project, even with NFTs, sometimes like NFT collections, or what do you call it? Like protocols and that sort of thing in the space will have a white paper, or they'll have like, do you know what I mean? Like, you'll get an idea of like the background, you'll get an idea of like who's involved, like who created it, what's their background, where are they coming from, right? Like, what do they want to do with this? Because there is also something called a rug pull, right? Where
speak on that.
Yeah, people will create something like, let's say, for example, an NFT collection, right? They'll create an NFT collection with like maybe 10,000 NFTs, and they'll sell them all for whatever they're selling them for, like the equivalent of, say, maybe $140, let's just say, right, in Ethereum. But they really have no intention of actually doing anything with it. And they have what they're doing is it's just it's performative. It's just like a hack. Do you know what I mean? Like
It's fake.
It's fake. They don't intend to send anybody NFTs even. Like there have been some crazy projects where they're like, oh my gosh, they literally took all the money and disappeared.
Yeah.
Like just whew, right. So when you're planning on buying something like out of a big collection like that, to really look at who are the developers, like, are they real people, right? Like what?
And how do you
And reputable
how do you
people.
even, so let's say, like, when we tell people to do our research, like, how do you discern online?
Well, there's going to be a website. If there's no website for you to go to, if there's nothing like that for you to go to, like to dig around, then like definitely.
But what if
like,
they're kind of slick with it and then they have a website, like some of those phishing sites that like look exactly like
Oh,
the
yeah.
site?
Right. So oh yeah, we can get into that on like wallets and stuff.
Mhm.
But they can get like really savvy, but at the same time, you have to look at like, do they have a Twitter presence? Are they like real people? Do you know what I mean? Do they have Instagrams? Do they have like, what do they have? Like, do they exist in socials? Do you know what I mean? Like, what have they done? What are their projects? You know what I mean? And then if you gather like, oh, these are real people and they're affiliated with some really savvy things. I can see their LinkedIn, do you know what I mean? Profile, and for the past like 25 years, they've been whatever doing this, and they've worked with this really reputable project and that reputable project and that sort of thing. Then you can make a decision, like a more informed decision. But if they're just like, you can't find them anywhere, you can't see anything, it all seems sort of like suspect,
Yeah.
then definitely be careful. And as for, say, like MetaMask, if you're trying to create your MetaMask wallet, right? It's metamask.io. There are very, very savvy people that will change a letter, in metamask.io, and it looks identical,
Yeah.
but it's not the actual site, right? And so you go in and you're putting in like some serious, your information, and they'll ask you for something called a seed phrase, which is your everything, right? You should never
The
give
12
that out.
words.
Is it
ever.
like metaphoric to having a social security number?
Yeah, but even more so than that, because there are
Really?
use cases for the government asking you for that, or a bank asking you for that. In this space, nobody should be asking you for your seed phrase. Those 12 words in that specific sequence that are generated when you create your actual MetaMask wallet on metamask.io, for example, nobody should ever have any reason to ask you for it unless you reach out to MetaMask and say, I can't get in, I need help, I've lost my password, and this is the only way back into your wallet. Do you know what I mean?
I heard they don't even give that to you. They'll just say like, nah, you're out of luck.
Start over.
Yeah, like one of the guys said that he lost like tens of thousands of dollars because he had it in and he lost his password, and he tried to get his password, and they were like,
Hold on. Listen to this.
What?
This was funny.
You should be able to get your password with your seed phrase.
Oh, with your seed phrase.
Yeah,
with your seed phrase.
The seed phrase is to get your password again.
Okay, yeah.
Hold on
Yeah,
one
yeah.
second. Listen to this.
Mm-hmm.
This is just the beginning of a video.
Francisco man has over $300 million worth of Bitcoin, but he forgot his password and can't access it. And he only has 2 more password guesses before he's locked out and loses it forever. If you want to avoid this kind of nightmare, here's my advice on how to store your cryptocurrency safely.
So basically, it's a seed phrase. The password is backed up by the seed phrase. Is that what you guys are saying? Or are those the password and the
I
seed
think,
phrase
but
are
you
the same
can
thing?
get your you can get one but not the other, right?
Yeah, your seed phrase is the holy grail.
Got it.
Right? And your password you can get using your seed phrase.
Got it.
You can't use your seed phrase you can't use your password to get your seed phrase.
Got it.
You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like, yeah. Like,
Okay.
if you're like, I know my password, but I don't know my seed phrase. Help me, tell me it. They'll be like, we don't know your seed phrase. You were supposed to write that shit down. I mean, do you know what I mean? Like, you
Yeah.
were supposed to write it down when we gave it to you. When it was generated, we told you to write it down on a piece of paper. What did you do with that piece of paper?
Oh, and that's the other thing too, is that, that's what they say. You have to write it down on paper. Don't put it in your notes or notepad or anything like that and take
No
a picture
digital.
of it,
Yeah.
because as soon as you take a picture of anything, it goes to the cloud. Even if you didn't upload it, like just taking the picture of it automatically sends it to the cloud.
I wonder what billionaire tech people do with their seed phrases. Like, do they lock them in safes?
There's a
and,
new thing.
crazy
They
stuff
do a
like
thing.
that.
They're
There's
minting them onto metal.
Wait,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're minting their passwords and seed phrases on the metal, and they're like, they have them like
Yeah, they're engraving them.
engraving them.
That's
Yeah,
so
into metal.
funny.
And then
Yeah.
they put them in like
a vault.
Really, vaults or like fireproof safes and
That's
things. Yeah.
crazy.
But yeah, you want it on paper. You don't want it on any digital device, and you don't want to send it to yourself. You don't want to send it to anybody. You don't want to email it. You don't want any of that, because anybody that's really savvy online can access a seed phrase and find your wallet and clean you out.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm. And so then comes in the hard wallets. So those are like what are called soft wallets, right? They're like a wallet that's online, right?
Okay.
Like your MetaMask, for example, right? You want to have, if you have a lot of money
Mhm.
and you want to like cryptocurrency and you want to like, I want to really safeguard most of it. You want to move it into a physical thing that looks kind of like a USB stick called a hard wallet. And or a cold wallet.
Is it kind of like a hard drive for your?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like a USB drive. It's a really fancy schmancy like USB drive, and you connect it to a desktop. You move your money. You connect everything up, and then you move
When you
it.
say connect everything up, go into that thing. Not that thing.
Yeah, like it'll open it up for you.
Okay.
Like, do you know what I mean? And you create a password for your wallet and all the things. And I think you get a seed phrase for that too.
Okay.
I think there's a seed phrase. I haven't hooked mine up, but I believe there's a seed phrase with that as well. And so and then you move it into that. It's just that you don't physically want to lose that sucker, because there is absolutely no way to get anything out of there in any digital way.
I was thinking that, like, okay, so you get a hard wallet, you put your monies, your crypto, you put your value in. I'm assuming you can put NFTs on there.
Mhm.
Put your NFTs on there, right? So boom, because of the seed phrase, like I'm thinking like, okay, it's all connected by the seed phrase. You lose it, then boom, you get another one, and they say put in your seed phrase, and then boom, it populates back.
No, that seed phrase is a one-time only shot.
That is so crazy.
It's like,
I wonder if that'll ever change. You think that'll change?
No, because that's
Is
a
it
part
one
of
the
what
safety features.
Yeah, that's a part of
it's
what
a security feature.
Yeah.
It's like the greatest security feature that they could come up with at this time.
Yeah.
Right? So like
Because
there's only
you
one.
a hacker can figure out anything.
Yeah, hackers are savvy.
Yeah.
Like, they're a savvy
I guess
bunch.
that's like kind of like a burner phone, like kind of sort of like you make the phone call you gotta make, and then you throw it away because it's like you don't want people to be able to keep up with you or figure out your patterns.
It's even a little different because
I can see
a
it's different, too.
phone, because a phone is still connected.
only in the context of like you use it once, boom, it's like a one-time thing, right?
Sure.
Like
yeah,
only
in that context, yeah. But just conceptually, yeah, a phone is actually still like tethered to some sort of
I'm with you.
network to have a
So like
a
with
signal,
Apple, right? And
there's still a signal that's coming like to that phone. Whereas like with your hard wallet, it's pretty much not connected to a network.
Mhm.
That's
I got
why
you.
it's a hard wallet. Like
It's like putting it in a shoebox.
meaning
at home.
hardware. It's like a hardware wallet.
So does that could that possibly disrupt a blockchain if someone loses?
No, that's
No.
the reason. So the hard wallet is literally like your, I'm gonna use the word copy.
Oh, okay, I got you.
But it's not a copy though, because copy is
I'm gonna
not
say
the
if
right.
it's a copy, then
It's not a copy. It's your way. It's like your it's your original. Yeah. So it's your original,
But
And
it's your
yeah,
way to access
it's
it.
your way to access it. So you can only plug it in. It's like a USB. It's like you can plug it in and take it out. Right. So once you unplug it, it's not connected to any network. So that's why it's
I'm with you.
it's why it's safer.
Like
Okay.
nobody has access to it because it's not physically connected to anything.
I got you.
Right?
So like if there's a document, a regular document on a USB, and like I plug it into this computer, right?
Right.
Boom, I can access the documents. But
Right.
if I don't save it to this computer, I'm not saying that you can save the things on your hard wallet.
Right,
but
right.
No, you save the things on your hard wallet. You're saving your NFT onto your hard wallet. You're saving your crypto
But can a copy
onto
of
your
that,
hard wallet.
I guess I'm just clarifying too. You can't
Oh, there's no
have a
copy of it on your
your
computer. No.
No.
All right. So
right.
boom. So if I don't have that USB or that document, somehow, some way, like someone runs over that USB and that
you're
document
done.
is over.
You're done.
I don't have it no more.
You're done.
Got it. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
People create like little chains. They put them in like special safes or like safety deposit boxes. Like it's like, yeah, especially when they start moving large amounts of cryptocurrency onto those wallets.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So do you buy them based on the amount of crypto it can hold? Is that how it's sold?
It's sold as a USB stick kind of thing, right?
Mhm.
But you want to, and this is really, really important. It's really great advice from like big spenders, I'll just say, and people like in the space, fintech people and that sort of thing. They're like, you want to buy you get the Ledger Nano X, right? A lot of people they like the Ledger Nano X or Trezor, right?
I saw that one, the T1, yeah.
Yeah, and so if you get the Ledger Nano X, my understanding is, I haven't really looked at it. It's terrible, but you have more options of like what cryptocurrencies it's compatible with.
Got it.
Right?
Okay.
So there's compatibility issues with them,
Understood.
right? Which is fine. But with the Ledger Nano X, for example, and I'm sure for the Trezor, it's the same thing. You don't want to buy it from a second or third party. You want to get it directly
from the manufacturer.
That makes total sense.
Because
Mhm.
people, what they've done is they've gone in and they've been like, I'm going to order 100 of these, or I'm going to order 1,000 of these. I'm going to tamper with them. I'm going to put some kind of weird code in there, do whatever. And when people plug in, they get access to your money, your wallet, like all of it, and clean you out because they've tampered with it.
That
So
sound like the
it's all the
gas
fun
station
stuff.
scams.
Yeah.
When they attach
Yeah.
the credit card reader to
Mhm.
the thing, you'll never know. Like you stick your card in and it's like grabbing all the data of your credit
it's
card.
like Trojan horse
Yeah,
scenarios,
yeah.
like that makes
That's
any sense.
hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh my
They've
gosh.
got a lot of different ways. They've become pretty savvy in like how they, try to like hoodwink people.
This
and
seems like
stuff.
this is beyond the wild, wild west. So it seems like people are still fighting.
No, it's still
the
it was even more wild west than now, but a lot of corporations have entered the space.
Would you?
Mhm.
Is the I don't. It doesn't.
And
feel
So
a
like
it's
lot of
there's a-
mixed.
security. There's the security that's really coming in strong,
don't-
and forensic investigators, forensic detectives that are going in and they're like, oh, so and so just hired me to like go get their money, go find it, and
Oh
they're
my
going
God.
in forensically tracking where that money moved from wallet to wherever it jumped.
That's
And
a whole career.
it's a whole thing,
Mhm.
and it's a big one. It's a huge one in this space right now.
Coding is one of the biggest things that you have to probably know how to do in order to do that, right? You have to probably.
Oh, I don't
Strong.
even
That's like
know.
basics,
It's like
probably.
hardcore, like
Yeah.
being able to like really
Mhm.
infiltrate.
Yeah, that's cybersecurity.
Oh yeah.
Coding
Like-
is like kindergarten for that.
Okay. But-
Yeah.
okay.
Like these are like the super brains, right?
Yeah.
Like super
Yeah.
brainy people
Well-
that get into that,
They're the ones who are actually the hackers
right? And
because
they're
they
the-
know how to reverse it.
they're
That's
the
what
people.
they're doing.
Yeah, they're the people that financial institutions or banks will like hire. Like, you break into our system and tell us where there are weak points, that kind of thing. And there are people who are hired to do that, like
What?
come in and break into our system, right? And then they know where to like
No, say it.
strengthen things up or tighten things up, or like, they've got like vulnerabilities, right?
Okay.
So
Like,
I've got a
Chase doesn't want to be
question.
vulnerable.
Deja was gonna say something.
Oh, go ahead,
Oh,
Deja.
I was
Yeah,
just
yeah.
gonna say that's like that kid that hacked his school, his school district.
Yeah, it took them forever to find out like who it was, and
He
they
was
like
going- He was like going in getting answers or like
Oh, stop!
he
Really?
shut the whole school district's internet down.
yeah, that's what he was doing. Like so he would hack because everyone was like having school over Zoom, so he'd hack like the school internet system that everyone was using to get on the Zoom courses.
No.
Yeah, he was in like 5th grade, right?
Yeah, he was 11.
Yeah, he was 11
Wow.
years
They should
old.
hire him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they tried to expel him, and his mom
and
was like,
charge him. They wanted to
Oh, yeah,
charge
with
him.
No, they need to hire him.
No,
The CIA
that's what
probably
they
hired him.
They need to get
They-
hired by the
The
CIA.
NSA,
Yeah, the
CIA,
NSA hire him.
FBI, all
Yeah.
hire him. They're all like, this kid's like,
they
you
were
know,
gonna punish him, but instead they were like, he's too smart. So instead they put him in like more
some
corrective
specialty school.
courses. Yeah,
Mm.
He needs to be challenged.
for
For
sure.
his morals.
For
He's
sure.
not-
Yeah.
he's
The
not
moral
being-
class.
He's not being challenged enough. He's got
So-
too much free time.
I have a question. So can you walk me through like just the very, very beginning of blockchain? Just like if I'm like, okay, yeah, I heard about blockchain. I know, like, I heard about Bitcoin. Like I know, and I know you just explained it,
Mhm.
but I know like there's probably people who are like joining that are just like, I still I don't think I really get it.
Right. Okay, so think of the blockchain as a database, right? Blocks of information and like a digital ledger, right? Where transactions are recorded chronologically and they're publicly accessible, like anyone can see them, right? This makes them what we call decentralized because they're not held in a single place. They're, the information, the data is held in like a whole bunch of like computer systems associated with it. And that makes it very, very difficult to hack or change that information or, you know what I mean? Like do anything to it. So I guess there's kind of like a sense of safety with that the information goes in and it's just there. That information is because it's recorded chronologically, you can always see who created something, like who put something into the blockchain, who put data or did a transaction on such and such a day, with a timestamp at such and such a time. Do you know what I mean? On there. And it's there forever. Like it can't be erased. It can't be removed. You can't go in and be like, I need to remove it. Like you can't remove it. It's there, right? So there are a lot of use cases. If you think of like how people can use a system like that, right? For authenticating things, for verifying things, for provenance, if we're talking about art, like who created the art piece? When was it created? Who was the first owner? Like, do you know what I mean? What did it sell for? Like that provenance, right? Like in the traditional art market, people fake works of art, great works of art. They fake like the paperwork that goes with it. You know what I mean? Like authentication papers and whatnot. In this space, it's stamped in. It's like a part of the piece at the bottom of, say, an NFT that has a work of art that's been, attached to the blockchain, put into the blockchain, minted into the blockchain. You will see at the bottom, like who created it, who bought it, like on what day, for how much. Like it's all there forever for people to follow along as that piece, moves and lives in the blockchain. So there are great cases, but there are also other use cases that a lot of people haven't really considered, and that's say, for example, in 2017, Malta, right, the country, they put their academic records into the blockchain, right? So it's great for like now they're viewable. Now they can't be changed or forged or messed with, right? And they're accessible by anybody. Like student credentials, I think, went in as well. And it's great for something like that is great for, later in life, if you're applying for a position or something and you've got to go to like this institution or that institution to get the verification of all these papers or diplomas or documents or whatever records, it takes time. And that's like human power and human error and all of that. Well, when it's on the blockchain, it's just like, bam, you can see it. You can just get in there and see it. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, so for time purposes and for, what do we call it? Accuracy and for like, verification purposes, that's a great use case. Also MIT in 2017 also issued 100 diplomas on the blockchain, right?
Wow.
As a test case. Do you know what I mean? Like it's like, yeah,
Smart.
so they're there forever, right? And you've got also Vietnam in 2020, they put all their student records from high school and like higher echelons of education in there. Same reason. It's like now it's like easy breezy trying to find those records. They're accessible forever. Do you know what I mean? Anytime somebody needs them. Do you know what I mean? So there's a lot of that. And healthcare, you know, and supply registries and that sort of thing are looking at this space too, because, you know, think of being able to put our health records on the blockchain. Like think of like we're in the US right now, right? And we've got out of the 33 countries or whatever that are first world countries, we're the only country out of all first world countries that doesn't have universal health care. We're the only one, right? So when we want to access our own health records, right, we have to jump hoops, beg, plead, pay. Like, I mean, crazy to try to find our own records, right? It's data that belongs to us, that is about us, but doctors and institutions and all kinds of people like are the gatekeepers. We can't get to them. We can't just have them. Do you know what I mean? Like it's a thing. But imagine if those records were on the blockchain and you needed to have like there was a security process for anyone to be able to access the actual record of what was in there, but like your name and your information existed, but there was like another layer. Do you know what I mean?
I love that.
Imagine you being able to take that health information now, and what if you were able to take that data, and this is like something that people are thinking about like in the future, like what if we were able to take that data and we were able to profit from it? We were able to sell or rent that our own data, our healthcare data, to research companies. Companies that were doing like healthcare things, like and real healthcare. Do you know what I mean? Like real,
and that's what companies are doing like right now.
They're doing
with
that
your data,
right? They're
literally
doing
what I
that
was about to say.
without our consent. That is being done, and we're not making any money off of that data.
And we talked about that. We talked about that in with I think what the young lady when she came on and talked about cybersecurity. What's her name? Pipe starts with the Tawana Petty.
Tawana is dope,
right?
Yeah, Tawana Petty.
She's got
Shouts out to Tawana Petty.
She's got this stuff down. She understands data security like nobody.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
so that
I kind of wish she was here because she could explain things.
We
like,
can bring her on.
Yeah, we should get her.
That would be
her,
when we have
she's got like some details and things that
for sure. That would be a fire show with with all three of you guys.
It'd be fun.
So then, okay.
But there's a lot of use cases. Do you know what I mean? Like there's a lot of things that can be done, and the future is really wide open right now for what protocols, what platforms, what people can do. There's a company I want to bring up called IoTex, IoTeX, right? And they just won for 2020. The CES show is like in what do you call it, in Vegas, is like the big tech show of like every year. It's like all the tech people kind of descend there, and they're like looking at all the new things that are coming out, the new innovations, yada yada. And they won for best new product, and they created a camera that basically isn't hackable because they tied it in the technology to the blockchain. So you think of baby cams in your home, and how many times have predators and such hacked into little kid like cameras in people's homes and watch little kids, watch people, like on my phone right now, I don't have tape on it, but I usually have a piece of tape here. It just fell off today. But I usually have like tape because I
over
keep
your camera,
over the cameras, I keep them covered because like
and at your home,
all my tech friends are like, are you crazy? Why do you have that open? Anybody can watch you at any time of the day through your cameras on your computers, on your cell phone.
That's why I like to put my
all the
phone
time.
like face down. Like
Sure.
It's just, I don't know.
No, and I get it. But
that used to be like a thing in my brain. Like, what if someone could hack my phone?
Sure.
Like,
but more so than
always
that, like
face
if your
down.
phone is near like a credit card sitting on your table or anything like that, you know, anything that's viewable in that range is accessible. If you have information like I don't know, birth certificate, like license, you know, your license sitting there, like anything like that is viewable. Like your 3-year-old sitting in their bedroom talking to some man who's hacked into her little like, you know, teddy cam or whatever. Like these are crazy things. So they devised a way to take data or smart appliances, like smart products like that, and put that data on the blockchain. And so the future where they're moving with that, which is kind of brilliant, is us being owners of the data that gets collected by our refrigerators, by our Echo, our Amazon Echo, by our phone, like all the things.
I like that. Like
Yeah.
that explanation of it. I love like how where like you just kind of stated like the financial institutions like right with if I'm paying Piper and she banks with Bank of America. Now Comerica and Bank of America have my information, are seeing the transactions, but I don't see all the transactions between all the people that I've paid, right?
Right.
So the blockchain opening it up to so where I can see where my money went from point A to point Z is absolutely genius, right?
Right.
There's no secrets to what has occurred with my $1. Like you
Right.
get to see how it travels, right?
Right.
And I think that's dope. Like
And
I
you
do.
yeah, and you can get a little deeper. It's a little devy, like
I'm
it's
sure.
really but there's something called Etherscan.
Uh-huh.
And so on the Ethereum blockchain, you can go to Etherscan and you
Mhm.
can like dig even a little deeper and go and like see like, like minute and like exactly
I
like
love
when
that.
everything happened. And you're just like, okay, that legit made it into that wallet.
And
like,
and that does take, I don't know if this like correlates, but it does take a lot of energy because you have to think about it like everyone has to make one timestamp, right? Like everyone, I think they read it has to agree like on that same timestamp, but like it adds on to the blockchain. Everyone's transaction adds on to the blockchain, I'm assuming. And then at some point until like everyone figures it out, like, I mean, once everyone figures it out, like there's one timestamp. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, okay, Bank of America records a transaction and then Comerica records that transaction, right? So if that transaction happened, from my standpoint, I like deposited into Comerica at 5:27. Then Comerica deposits it the next day at 6:30, right? Like who is the holder of these timestamps? Like who can legitimize these timestamps, right? Doesn't that take work for all the parties to agree on those timestamps?
well, so it's like peer-to-peer verification, right? Like the system itself like is set up that way. I want to say that without getting too crazy, it is way more efficient in the sense that, let's say I'm buying an NFT, for example, right?
Mhm.
And it's an NFT where it's a piece of art that got minted into this NFT and it's on, I'm just going to say on OpenSea, for example, or Rarible, right?
Was it so? An OpenSea is also
It's a
one of those
marketplace.
websites,
Yeah,
for
yeah.
lack of a better word. It's another company.
.io or
Yeah,
dot,
it's
okay.
a .io. Yeah,
Okay.
OpenSea.io, and it's the largest marketplace for
Okay.
NFT art, right?
Okay.
So, like, let's just say you minted a piece on OpenSea, right? You created a work of art, and you were like, "I'm putting it on OpenSea. I'm selling it," and I come along, and now it's attached to your digital wallet, right? Because you needed a digital wallet to be able to do that, right? You needed to attach it to some kind of digital wallet that belongs to you so that, the money eventually gets to you,
Got
right?
it.
So it's on there and I come along and I'm like, oh, I really like this piece. Like, this is dope, right? I'm like a fan of the art. You know what I mean? Like, that's the only reason why I'm buying it, right? Because I love the art. And so the second I press like that buy button, right? That money, like that transaction is recorded in there and that money's moving from like, and I call it money, but it's, the
The
cryptocurrency,
currency.
Got it.
right? Is moving from my wallet to your wallet, right? You don't have to come chase me for it. You don't have to wait a month for me to pay you. You don't have to like email me, call me like, hey, where's my money? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not a gallery making an artist wait a year to get paid on the sale of their 10 works of art. None of that, right? It's instant. It's moving from one wallet to another wallet. And you can see the transaction right there. You can see the timestamp. And I will probably have to pay some kind of like gas fee because I'm buying it from you. So that it's a transaction fee, right? Like,
That's what I was
it's got to
kind of getting
happen,
at. Yeah.
right? But I'm willing to pay that. Like, when I see it'll come up, there'll be a little pop-up window that'll say, is this the piece you want to buy? This is the gas for it right now. And I see like, oh, it's going to cost me $4, equivalent of $4 to buy it. Or maybe it's $200 and I just say, whatever, I'm going to throw $200. I don't care that it's $200. I really want it right now. And I press yes.
Mhm.
You can choose, you know what I mean? Or you can say, oh no, not right now. It's $200. I'm going to wait. And so you cancel it and wait for another time. And there might be the cancellation fee might charge you a little bit because it's a transaction again.
There you go.
But it'll be so minor compared to like a $200, or even some people have paid $1,000 for a transaction because they just wanted it right now, and it was like super high time. It was like balls up. Like time.
Explain that part again, because that could kind of go over people's heads. Because because like, okay, let's say like when you go to the ATM
Yep.
to get money.
Yep.
And it'll say this transaction is, $5. Do you want to pay? Well, when you're doing a transaction with your crypto, you can choose like how much you want to pay, for lack of a better way to put it, to either speed it up, right? So you
Like
can
Cash App, kind of, sort of, right? Or Venmo, where they say, oh, you pay $1 to get it right now, or
Pretty
wait
much.
free for 2 days. Wait
But
for
the
2
thing
days.
Gives you
is,
that option
with Cash App or with the bank, it's like one fee,
yeah,
right? It's
It
like
doesn't
$1,
fluctuate.
it's like $3.
it's not like 210 like 5 minutes ago and 310
So it's
in
like
an hour.
shipping fee, almost like
Right.
a shipping fee.
But
It's
you
not a
can choose
standard
how
fee.
much you want to pay more. So you could pay, like, I'm just gonna make something up. You could say, okay, I want to do like the equivalent of $50. Like I want to spend the equivalent of $50 on,
Getting that NFT,
like getting some land,
Or
like
getting
getting some
some land.
digital land.
Okay.
Right.
Like max, you don't want to go
Yeah.
over 50. Let's just
So
say.
then it'll say, oh, do you want to buy this land like right now? Because if you do, you can give us $100 and it can go through immediately. Or you can give, I'm just making these numbers up, but or you could pay like $30 and send it in an hour, or you could, not pay, and then we're not sure when we'll send it. You know what I mean? Like you could like set like how much you want to pay for like how fast you want to do it.
So give me an example of why you would like want to buy like
To get it
land,
right away.
because somebody else could come in and get it. Is that competitive? Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
But also a lot of times, and I do want to advise this part, is that if you start changing that gas speed, do you know what I mean? Like if you start playing around with that gas speed, be really, really solid on how you're doing that, and really understand what you're doing and how you're doing it, because you could mess with it and like really mess like your future transactions, like because like they'll be like all ranked like really like high pricing and stuff. So like don't mess with that. Like don't touch it unless you really understand what you're doing. Just because some people are like, whoa, I did that once and now I'm like paying like $1,000 every time and this is crazy. Like this can't be right.
Because it'll just be like, it's like an algorithm thing.
Yeah,
it'll be
it's an
like,
algorithm.
hey, big spender. You know what I'm saying? It's like the women who hang out with the NBA players. Like, that's the place to go. They know you don't care.
Yeah.
You know.
But it also and the gas kind of think of it as if you're taking money out of a bank machine, right? It doesn't matter what time of day, like it'll charge you that $2 fee, right? Let's just say if it's not your bank, it'll charge you that $2 or $3 fee, right? Doesn't matter what time of day, night, whatever. It's a standard rate. If you are doing a transaction on, say, the Ethereum blockchain, right? You're buying an NFT or whatever. If it's 2:00 in the afternoon, it's probably going to be really high. If it's, do you know what I mean? But if it's like, say 3:00 in the morning on Saturday night or on Sunday night, it's probably going to be really low. And there are like there's a gas meta sync or whatever gas station, something or other. And you can like see, oh, right now on Rarible, it's this much on, on Foundation, it's this much. So you can see like, okay, gas is low, and people get crazy. Like they'll text you and they'll be like, gas is low, buy now. Like it's, yeah, they get crazy. They're like, get in there, get whatever you're trying to get now.
This is like a new world with like, I don't know, like previous concepts like kind of mixed together. It's really weird. Like I'm getting like, I'm like shipping, like auctions, like eBay, like all this like different stuff, like kind of just like, I don't know, like evolved into, so it like creates this different world. It's so weird,
Right.
like hearing about all these different layers of like how they've pulled different concepts together
Right.
to make this work. It's so interesting.
So I will point out, say for example, the Cardano blockchain, right? And that's still like developing right now, and it's like building up. But one of the main guy that created it is one of the people who created the Ethereum blockchain, right?
Okay.
So he's now created and like the team, it's like this team of academics and scientists have gotten together and they've created the Cardano blockchain, and it's a different type of system. Right, it's the same type of it's a blockchain, but it's set up a little bit differently, so the gas is almost non-existent, and that's why they did it this way, right? So when you're doing a transaction,
There's a value to that,
right? I've heard like people are like, yeah, I buy NFTs all the time. It costs me like 38 cents for like in gas. Do you know what I mean? The computational power only cost me 38 cents. So it's like, you know what I mean? Like people are like, oh, let me go over there because this is crazy. I don't want to pay $500 right now.
So is this a world where do you think in 10 years there are going to be 10 cryptocurrencies, or do you think there's going to be 2?
There's thousands.
But do you see the question I'm
Sure.
asking?
No, what do you mean?
Like she does. I'm
Okay.
asking, is it going to be where
She's wondering if they're going to last, if it's going to last to have all kinds of cryptocurrencies.
Yeah.
There's
if it's gonna
thousands
last.
now.
I get it, but this
there
is
I think I know what you're saying. I think there will be main ones that are going to rise, right?
And
The
it might
ones-
evolve, right?
Yes,
It might be
it
something
could be
different in
something
10
totally
10
different in
years
10
is
years. So
long
this
in
might
tech
be
years.
something totally different. But let's just say the blockchains, as we understand them right now, are still in existence in 10 years, right? And I would say that there's a chance that the ones that get the most like user friendly platforms or protocols or useful protocols and platforms built onto them, do you know what I mean, built for them, those ones are probably the ones that are going to be around. Do you know what I mean? Because people are like, oh, I have a whole business on this blockchain, or I have a whole metaverse on this blockchain.
As corporations, right, are going to be the tie to the main, like people who are like me who don't know shit about cryptocurrency, right? Like Elon Musk came out today and said, hey, what is it called? Dogecoin? Dogecoin is more valuable than Bitcoin in the sense that you can buy more things with it, right? So here's
But be careful. Be careful about so a lot of times the people will like think I gotta say this before you say that. Be careful of listening to when people in tech promote stuff on tech, especially NBA and celebrities, and especially people that own tech, because sometimes that's a marketing.
But that's the point.
That's the point that I'm making, right? So here's this billionaire. He makes this statement, right? And now people are gonna like start, is it mining or purchasing or
like
trading,
buying into, right?
Okay, so
they're like, oh, I need to get Doge,
right?
Like I need to throw like 10,000 into Doge right now.
So it seems like, that's why I said it's still, I know there's different levels to it being the Wild Wild West, but it seems as if it's truly the Wild Wild West in the sense that because everyone is still fighting for their value and creating value, like everyone's trying to like whip up on what is valuable, how, you know, do you see what I'm saying? Value is still being determined and developed.
But you're saying it as though, okay, this is the only thing I want to like, I don't want to say refute, but just want to dig into. You're saying it as if we're on some sort of linear destination to it. That's I call it like the success model of thinking. But it's not about like, okay, until whatever.
I'm not saying that. I think corporations being invested in it is gonna make that inevitable to happen, though. That's the point that I'm
on
making.
A certain level.
I think I think I get what she's saying, though. I think what you're trying to say is that different, like you've got all kinds of different coins or whatever, and and there's different values that are like happening. They're going up, they're going down, like it's whatever. It's like a gambler's
people have a reason for why they use one versus the other.
Yeah, it's like gambler's paradise right now, right? Like it's like all the gamblers are in here.
Diversified portfolios, and all these
like
currencies,
all the things, right? But also we have to also understand that not every coin, for example, has the same value system.
That's what I mean,
right?
Yeah.
So something like Doge, I mean, this is not financial advice, but most people think of it as more like a jokey thing.
Okay.
It's like a jokey thing, right? But you have to kind of get into the space and be around, like, you know, in the ecosystem to understand, oh, that's more of a jokey one. That's like for fun. It's for play.
Based on what you can,
right? Based on what you can
trade
do
and
with it,
Got it.
how it's been
Mhm.
moving, who's using it, like, can you use, do you know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
and all the things that have happened with it, right? People don't take it like seriously.
So
Like, there are crazy people that, of course, I mean, I don't want to call them crazy. I shouldn't say that, but do you know what I mean? There are people that you're gonna have diehards in anything,
Got
just
it.
because whatever, right? But the more, if you want to be more sensible, if you're like a hedge fund guy, do you know what I mean? Or you're like somebody that's like more like fintech, like investment type person, you're gonna look at something that has more, like real leverage to it, like more, like, do you know what I mean? Like it's here, it's probably not going anywhere. And how does
Stable.
right, it's a little more stable. And how could we get into that and build value for our hedge fund or
For
our
our
group,
capitalist
for our capitalist
Yeah.
system,
venture.
right?
For
Like
sure.
how can we use that to, you know, create more, you know, like grow our wealth or grow
Understood.
our people's wealth. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
so there's that. And those ones tend to be like the ones that are like in the top 3, top 5, like
Got
kind
you.
of thing. And then there are other ones that people dabble in just because they can, and it's happened to like do well for a certain time. And people, sometimes they do things where they move in, you know, they move in kind of strong, put in a whole bunch of money, let that rise a little bit, and they see like they've doubled it or tripled it in like shortest, you know, a short span of time. And then they're like, hey, time to pull out. And then they pull it out and they've profited.
Got
Right.
you.
So there's a lot of different reasons why people get in, a lot of different things people are doing,
Mhm.
but definitely do homework,
I
pay
was just gonna say
attention.
that.
Yeah. And don't throw like your family's like money that you need for like, you know, your bills this month. Like it, you know, this is not what you want to be doing with anything, right? You don't want to gamble, like, you know.
It feels like this is like what I like about it, an important stage, because again, because of the value thing, you being able to like create your own value or how you see things to be valuable. I think that with the corporation part, that part is important, that you do your research, because I think that for people who are like want to get into it quick and they don't care, they have the money to play with, you know, they're gonna just follow whatever like a Elon Musk says, like whatever a Warren Buffett says, whatever Dave Portnoy says, a day trader for Barstool Sports, right? So like I think it's important for you to do your own research, right? Because it's not just because you're not, so you don't get caught up in capitalism, but so that you can help create value. You know what I mean? I think that's dope. It's like two-sided.
And so you minimize, you know, what you'll hear is like minimize your risk by paying a little bit of attention,
Mhm.
by being mindful, by listening to some of the women and the men in the space that really know what they're talking about. Like there are a lot of really amazing women, you know, like Amy Tonin, like is one of them, you know, and she really like financial wizzy person. Do
That's
you know what I
cool.
mean? And
Mhm.
just people that like just sort of like understand the space, and then you can just sort of maneuver like in and out of conversations that are happening around, and then you can get a lay of the land and sort of that like a better understanding, and then you can move with more purpose, if you will, rather
Yeah.
than like I'm just fledgling around in here and like,
Mhm.
oh no, woe's me, I just lost like $2,000. Do you know
So
what I
help
mean?
me.
Like,
So let's say like I'm, you know, I've been, let's say like I've been reading about crypto a little bit, or I heard a little bit about an NFT, but you know, I want to get into it, but I'm a little confused. Like how, like what would you suggest for a person who's new as to how to approach getting into, you know, crypto? Well, NFT is purchasing minted or creating mints, right?
right.
But like, so I guess the step before that would be getting into crypto.
Mhm.
So how would you, you know, say if I'm an artist or whatever, you know, and I'm like, I want to do this, but I'm really like I don't understand like how, like where do I start?
So the easiest thing, whether you're an artist or a content creator, somebody that wants to create NFTs or create art or create something on there, or if you're just somebody that wants to like just buy a little bit of crypto just to see where it goes and whatever the future, you know what I mean? The first thing you're going to want is a wallet. You're going to want a digital wallet, right? The digital wallet doesn't cost you anything, right? You just create your digital wallet and then you can start moving money into that digital wallet, right? So that digital wallet can be MetaMask for specifically Ethereum, right? You can go into a lot of different platforms like maybe Coinbase if you want to buy, I don't know, you want to buy some Cardano, or you can
But
get
Coinbase
Ethereum
is
on there.
centralized, right?
Yeah, that is not like, that is a different type of platform, right? But you've got a whole lot of choices where you can sort of like buy little bits here and there.
So is it inevitable to get in? Wouldn't you always have to use a centralized to get in?
Well, you have to connect a bank account or a credit card to your digital wallet.
Yeah.
So there's some kind of centralization
sure.
system, like meet of
Has
like
to be.
something has to meet to whatever, because
Yeah.
you can't throw things into it physically.
I was
Yeah. So there's got to be some kind of way to move things, right? But you can also get, like, say, a Yuri wallet if you want to get into Cardano, then you get like a Yuri wallet if you want to just be very specific, right? And something that will connect to their platforms and things that if you want to mint in Cardano kind of thing, you want to buy NFTs in Cardano, like your Yuri wallet is like a one of the better ones that people like, right? But that wallet is your first step, right? Making sure that you go to the actual site and not some false, fraudulent, like crazy site that somebody's created.
And tell us how we know the difference.
So you want it to say metamask.io. You pay attention to the spelling in the browser, because it can look exactly like the thing, but the browser has like a missing letter, or it's like some other ending, or it's some other thing. And it could be something that somebody mentioned today. What is it called? Man in the middle scenarios, where they've managed to use SEO and they create what looks like the actual site, but it's something that sits between you and the actual site and looks like the actual site. And so it'll ask you for that seed phrase, right?
People do that all the time.
Yeah.
I've seen like YouTube videos where people will like
really cheeky, like brazen, really. And people just give it up. So once you get onto the actual site, be very, very mindful, like that you're actually on the actual site on a desktop, and you create your wallet, you get that seed phrase, you write it down in the order that those words are generated, in the exact way they are written. Like if there are no capitals, it's all lowercase, make sure it's all lowercase, and you write it down on a piece of paper, and that's your safety feature right there.
And you must write it down on a piece of paper.
Yeah.
Do not copy it.
Yeah.
Do not take a picture of it.
Yeah.
Do not put it on your notes. Do not put it in your notebook.
And nobody legit ever in this space will ever ask you for that seed phrase. So anybody that asks you, you automatically should think, this is not legit, I'm out. Like, and you leave whatever space you're in. You should never be giving that seed phrase to anybody. But so that's your first step, right? Getting a wallet, going into marketplaces, like whatever, OpenSea or...
Oh, wait. How much? I mean, I know, it depends, but let's say like I don't have much money.
Right.
Like, how much should I put into a wallet?
Well, you honestly don't need to put anything in there up front until you're ready to like start doing something. So I would you know what I mean? I would do a little bit of homework to see like, what do I want to put money into, right? What do I want to put fiat, like USD dollars into? Do I want to get, Ethereum? Do I want to get Cardano? Do I want to invest in Bitcoin? Like to buy a whole Bitcoin coin, let's just say, you need like, I don't know what it is today, but let's just say it's 60,000. It's somewhere between 30 or 60,000. To get a whole one, you're going to need that much. Or you can buy a portion of it. You can buy 0.00008 of Bitcoin. Do you know what I mean? Of one Bitcoin.
And just briefly, tell a person like that, like what would be the point or value? Because I could totally see a person being like, well, what would I do that for?
Right. So you would do that because what if, and it's speculative or whatever, what if Bitcoin become like in 2 years is not worth 60,000 anymore? What if Bitcoin is worth I don't know, 130,000, right? So you've increased whatever you put in there by that much. You've almost doubled it, right? So it just by sitting there, it doubled all on its own, right? So that's one incentive. But you can look at something like Ethereum, which to get a single coin, I think today it's about $3,800. So it's, there's more room
Yeah.
for growth and for your money to like move. Or you can look at Cardano, that's like $1 something. So if you were to put $100 in Cardano, you're going to get like what 80, 90 something coins, like actual whole coins. And let's say Cardano in 5 years is worth $10.
Yeah.
Right? Now you have like, like let's say you have 90 coins. And what if like in 20 years, each coin is worth $30,000, right? 90 times 30,000, right? Like, so that's the kind of movement and growth that could happen. I don't know. I'm not saying that Cardano is going to be $30,000, but like, if it ever makes it to like $5 or $10, people are like, wow, like I could really, I could like, really double, triple, quadruple, like whatever I invest into something like Cardano because I can get whole coins, right? That
But
kind
what
of
if
thing.
I'm someone who, because it could totally sound like the stock market. So
Sure.
what if I'm someone who is like, I never did the stock market. Like I don't, this is not my thing. Like I don't do this. Like
Right.
I for lack of a better way to put it, what if I'm poor? Like,
Right.
because, we keep hearing like, man, if you're, a person who, would be considered poor or, not really,
Like low income.
low
right,
income,
Right.
like
The
how does
stock
this
market is
benefit
out
me?
of your range. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And how does this even benefit
Right.
me? Like, I don't care
So
about my, coin appreciating.
Right,
Like
of
I need
course.
something,
Of course.
Yeah. So
Of
help
course.
help me understand
Sure.
that. Yeah.
So when you don't have a lot of money or you don't have a lot of access, it's very difficult for you to build wealth, or generational wealth, or build any kind of like assets and investments and that sort of thing, right? But and you tend to what's the word I'm looking for? Focus on a bank account, right? You have like a bank account, you have a checking account or a savings account or both, right? And you utilize that for, the money that you get paid in the world and, for bills and whatever you're using, like whatever you're doing with it, right? Now, if you have a savings account, for example, to put $1,000, to save up $1,000 might be a lot of money to some people, right? You've managed to save up $1,000. In a year, that $1,000 sitting in a savings account is only going to gain a few cents in profit, let's just say, right? Like what the bank is going to give you as your benefit for leaving your money in their savings, in their bank, like as a savings, in a savings account. They're going to give you 5 to 10 cents for every $1,000 every year. Like that's it. Like they don't care about you. Like, do you know what I mean? However, if you were to take $1,000 and put it into Cardano or Ethereum, and you see how these have been moving in, you know what I mean? And there are different ones. You choose what you want to put it into, right? But
Yeah.
like, in a couple months, you might make $10. You might
Yeah.
make $20 on that $1,000 just because it's sitting there. In a year, you might double that. Do you know what I mean? In 5 years, you might like have 5 times the money that you put in originally, right? There is no bank on the planet Earth that
Yeah.
is going to give you 5 times your money in like 5 years or ever. I mean, ever maybe. Like, I don't, you know what I mean? Like they're giving you 5 to 10 cents every 1,000
Yeah.
in a year. It's not, there's no intention to really like double your money. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And so people that have very, very small increments of money like that, they don't have 50,000 sitting in the bank, in the bank. Do you know what I mean? Like they have very small amounts. They've saved like very small increments and they're just there for what's like, for like emergencies or for like whatever, hope chests or like whatever, like, but they don't need it. Right. I always think of it like, you should consider maybe putting some of it into something like this and letting it appreciate. Do you know what I mean? In a way that it's just not going to. It's not going to grow sitting in a savings
exponentially.
account.
Yeah.
Like significantly.
Yeah.
So it's something to consider. I mean, you do your homework and you pay attention and whatever, but
I can understand why someone who understands and knows what they're doing, why they would say, I'm trusting this one. I'm not diversifying my portfolio for 5 years because I trust this is going to increase in value. I could see someone who knows what they're doing that. But
right.
For me, what I've gotten out of this conversation is to diversify. Like
put a little bit here, maybe a
sure.
little bit there,
For
and just
sure.
see what happens,
Yep.
kind of thing.
Yep.
So let's go over really briefly again. Just name the sites where people should go, because we named like a lot of sites. So we said you got to download a Brave browser, right?
If you want to use Brave.
If you want to use Brave, I mean a Web 3.0 browser,
right?
Which browser do you use?
I use Chrome with the extension.
With the which
Chrome
extension?
The Chrome extension in order to access.
So you don't go.
I don't use Brave, but maybe I should look into Brave.
It's supposed to be secure.
Yeah, and it probably is, because Amy's like, I hate Chrome. I don't know why you guys are using Chrome.
Yeah, it's supposed to be secure. So you download the Brave browser.
Sure.
And you would go to any of the various crypto sites. Like, what are a couple that people could go to?
Okay, so you can go to metamask.io, metamask.io.
Isn't like the fox
it's a little fox guy.
So cute.
Yeah, and that would be your wallet for if you want to purchase some Ethereum, or you want to consider getting into Ethereum. You know what I mean? Like that blockchain or whatever. Like eventually you want to put some money in there, right? Like you don't have to right away. It could just sit there.
Yeah. And then you because there's different coins you could get. Yep. And different wallets you could get. Yeah. And so
if you want to look around and at different ones, and you want to just go to one place and just, I just want to go to one place and just kind of like look at what's there on offer and like poke around. Coinbase is an easy peasy one.
But remember, it's centralized.
It is centralized.
Yeah.
But it's what do we call Coinbase? It's not a wallet. It's like a trade platform. It's
it's like,
what do we call that?
It's almost like
my brain.
It's almost like if you were trading in American dollars for euros. It kind of, I don't know. I know what you mean. Yeah.
It's that. It's
a transfer.
Yeah. It's one of those things. And it's an exchange. It's an exchange. That's what it is. It's an exchange, right? And there's like a digital wallet that's within it, like where your cryptocurrencies go, but you wouldn't be connecting just because it's an exchange, right? You wouldn't be connecting, say, Coinbase to, just for an example, to the marketplace like OpenSea to like mint your NFT. Do you see what I'm saying? You would still need a MetaMask wallet, and you would need to move your Ethereum from Coinbase to the MetaMask wallet in order to then attach the MetaMask wallet to be able to move NFTs, create NFTs, buy NFTs in, say, a marketplace. You need that.
Thank you for that breakdown.
Yeah, that specific. But the exchange is easy peasy if you want to be like, I just want to look at the different things and see what's moving, because they have a lot of info in there. And it's, even if you just want to go in there and just peruse, you don't want to put anything in, you know what I mean? You just want to peruse around. Coinbase is an exchange that's like easy peasy. Kraken is what a lot of the bigger people, when they want to be moving money around, a Kraken wallet is useful for that, for moving money back from crypto back into USD fiat. So you want to move things like that back. You want to be like, oh, I've made a whole lot of money. Let me take like $1,000 out or something, or whatever you want to do. To pull it back out, you would use Kraken, Kraken. I mean, I wouldn't say use it. I'm just saying like it's what a lot of people like to use, right? But say you wanted to move in the Cardano blockchain, that kind of thing. You want to mint on Cardano, you want to buy things on Cardano, let things about, get, build your what you've got in Cardano and let that happen.
Mhm.
Yuri wallet is a useful one. I believe it's YUROI.
Mm.
I think I misspelled it, but it's the Yuri wallet. You can look it up.
So then, yeah, we're
Mhm.
gonna like stop there, but I just
Sure.
wanted to get people a little bit going,
Yeah.
and then, you know, you're gonna be coming back, to help us understand this thing. But if people are like, "Oh man, that was a lot of information," like, where can people go to like get more? Because you have your podcast and you also have your group on Clubhouse, and yeah, how can people find out more, or get started or get going?
Yeah, so there's an easy peasy way to get a little bit of understanding is, well, obviously YouTube has a bunch of stuff that people talking about it there. But you can get the NFT Bible. You can
Mhm.
look at the NFT Bible on OpenSea.io. That gives you a breakdown of NFTs and their their whole thing, what's going on there. That might be
Mhm.
helpful. You can also spend some time in Twitter,
Mhm.
like NFT Twitter. So like look up like NFT hashtag and see where the chats are happening and just pop in and listen to like people talking about different things. You'll build a lot of information that way.
Mhm.
And also Clubhouse is super useful. Clubhouse conversations, the NFT clubs. There are a number of NFT clubs in there, and a number of
Mhm.
NFT chats. If you don't have the Clubhouse app, it's an audio only app, and it's really useful. Like you can get some info, that sort of thing. But those are like useful, easy kind of
Mhm.
spaces. You can also Google things like, what is the blockchain, right? What
Mhm.
is a digital wallet? What is an NFT? What think of it as collector culture, right? Where
Mhm.
people tie in something like maybe a work of art to this little, this digital contract, a smart contract,
Mhm.
right? And then they mint that onto the blockchain, that kind of thing. We can get really deep into those and
Yeah, we
explain
can
it a
do
little bit
that
more
next
another
time.
time. But
Yeah.
yeah, just things.
And then where do people go to find you? To
I'm
get in to get into, get in touch with you to
Oh, sure.
like learn.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
At Pilar Cote on all the socials. PILARCOTE.
Mhm.
If people want to send me a DM or they have questions, I can send you like a good YouTube link that
Mhm.
breaks down how do I get my wallet. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like say my MetaMask wallet, and you can watch the little video. There's some good ones.
And you're going to be helping Detroit artists to get into the metaverse, right?
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
So this
Yeah.
is exciting.
Yeah, it's really important.
Yeah. And so before we go, did you have any I hate to say like final words, but any words of encouragement for people as we head home?
Yeah, be really mindful of where you're moving in the space. If you're unfamiliar, please don't throw money around. And also be very protective of that seed phrase and just your general information.
Mhm.
Definitely do a little bit of digging, do some homework. It doesn't take that much time.
Mhm.
And if you can deep dive, of course, but just to get your head around it before you just sort of like jump in is probably in your best interest.
Okay. And Brittany, did you want to leave us with some words?
Like I just said, I'm very excited for the direction of the show. This is
Mhm.
interesting conversations, intentional conversations, and just adds another layer to it. So I'm thankful for you, and thank you for you guys, and hope you have a good week. That's about it.
What about you, Deja?
Deja. Dang, I just had a good one too. Oh, maybe like commit to learning something new every week.
Okay.
Ooh, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of which, we're gonna have a guest on in a couple weeks, right? Asabe with his book.
Ooh.
make the hood healthy again.
Yes.
And
Oh, wow.
yeah, speaking of things, so that's something for folks to look forward to. Thanks for sticking with us so long. I know Deja has to go to work, so we're gonna strive to make the show a little bit earlier each week, like 8 o'clock. So tune in 8 o'clock. For me, I just want to thank everyone who tuned in and who was in the chat. I see Fatima. Peace, Fatima. Yeah, like if you guys are just tuning in, like go back and watch this episode, because Pilar gave a whole bunch of gems. If you're not doing crypto currently, or if you're not in the metaverse currently, if you need some help to get in, this has been like really fruitful, just to get a basic understanding and a little bit of security too, for us to really think about how we can be safer. Yeah. And so I guess I just want to ask folks to just continue to support Piper Carter podcast and continue to support Detroit is Different. Detroit is Different currently has its own NFT. So you can pay $250 to invest into the platform. This is owned by Kari Way Frazier, who who inherited this home that we're in from his grandparents, and he turned it into a podcast studio for the community. And so we're here now with our show, but there's a lot of other shows that are on Detroit is Different podcast network. You can go to detroitisdifferent.net. Love you too, Fatima. And just make sure that you keep checking, social media, because Detroit is Different does a lot of wonderful things for the community. And in addition to a GoFundMe that's out, there's also the NFT, like I said, that you can, purchase and be an investor in this venture. And then check us out on the socials too. Piper Carter podcast. We're on IG, and we're on in our Facebook group. I didn't make a separate Twitter, like just for the podcast. Like I kind of use like my own Twitter, but maybe I need to make a separate Twitter. Not sure. We got to get some interns and some help before we go there. But yeah, just continue to check us out. Like I said, now we're on YouTube and now we're on video. So let folks know, but we're also on all streaming platforms as well. So, share on, Spotify and Apple Podcast and iHeartRadio. So yeah, and we just appreciate all the listeners and appreciate everyone that's been in the chat. I see Sabrina Underwood was in the chat, and who is that? Chris was in the chat. I see Kari was up in the chat. Yeah, so just appreciate everyone, and we will see you. We're doing every Tuesday, because I realized like I never say the day. So tune in with us live every Tuesday at 8 p.m. right here on YouTube, and you can check out the replay and also get Deja's music.
I'm gonna turn it up a little. As you
Yeah,
talk.
go to she's Katori, and you want to check her out, and you're able to either follow her on Instagram, or you could also support her music and purchase her music. Where can we get it, Deja?
It's on my Bandcamp, katorit.bandcamp.com.
Yeah, so
Yay.
this is what we're listening to now. So take care, everyone. Peace.
Bye.